The observation deck of New Horizon Colony offered the best view in human-controlled space. Commander Elena Vasquez often came here during the final minutes of her shift, watching the twin suns of the Proxima Centauri system paint the sky in brilliant crimson and gold. 7 years of her life dedicated to this place, humanity's most ambitious extrasolar colony with nearly 15 million souls now calling it home. Beautiful evening, Commander. The voice belonged to Dr. Marcus Chen, the colony's chief cynobiologist. He joined her at the viewport, his reflection appearing beside hers in the crystalline barrier. They're all beautiful here, Marcus. Elena smiled. Sometimes I forget we're 39 trillion kilometers from Earth. Marcus nodded, but Elena noticed the tension in his posture. The long-range sensors picked up something unusual today. Council wants your assessment before they make it public. Elena's communicator chimed before she could respond. Commander Vasquez, please report to Command Center immediately. The walk to the Command Center took precisely 7 minutes through New Horizon's central spire. The colony had been designed with both beauty and function in mind, a testament to humanity's ingenuity. Transparent alloy walkways offered views of the verdant parklands below, where children played under an artificial sky projected onto the colony's massive dome. Colony Administrator Wei Chang stood at the center of a semicircle of holographic displays when Elena arrived. His normally composed face was drawn with concern. They've been there for 17 minutes now, he said without preamble. No response to hails on any frequency. The main display showed a cluster of vessels unlike anything in humanity's catalog. They resembled obsidian arrowheads, their surfaces drinking in light rather than reflecting it. Elena counted 27 of the larger ships, each at least 3 kilometers in length, accompanied by swarms of smaller craft. Distance? Elena asked. Just beyond our defensive perimeter, approximately 300,000 kilometers, answered Lieutenant Kea Okonkwo, her tactical officer. And they just appeared. No warp signature, no fold space disturbance. Nothing, Commander. One moment our sensors showed empty space, the next, they were there. Elena studied the ships. In her 15 years with the Colonial Defense Force, she'd never encountered this design or technology capable of appearing without detection. Send the first contact protocol message again. All frequencies, all known translation matrices. We've tried 7 times, Commander, Wei said quietly. Try again, Elena insisted, and activate defense protocols. Quietly. I don't want to appear hostile, but I want us ready. The next 11 minutes passed in tense silence. The alien fleet remained motionless, seemingly studying the colony. When the communication console finally chimed, the relief in the room was palpable. We're receiving a transmission, Lieutenant Okonkwo announced. Audio only, unknown language. Run it through the translation matrix, Elena ordered. The sound that filled the command center sent chills down Elena's spine. It wasn't speech, at least not as humans understood it. The noise resembled the grinding of massive gears interspersed with high-frequency whistles that made her teeth ache. Matrix is struggling, the communications officer reported. Best approximation coming through now. A synthetic voice replaced the alien sounds. Evaluation complete. VERDICT. Incompatible. Open a channel, Elena said, straightening her uniform. This is Commander Elena Vasquez of the Earth Colony New Horizon. We welcome peaceful contact and wish to establish diplomatic relations. Please clarify your message. The response came faster this time. No dipalomenacea. Incompatible species PREC anti-contamination risk. Purification authorized. The tactical display erupted with warnings as the alien vessels began to move, spreading into an attack formation that Elena recognized from 1,000 simulations. Shields up. All civilians to shelter zones, she ordered, her training taking over. Lieutenant Okonkwo, prepare defensive countermeasures. Administrator Wei, initiate emergency evacuation protocols for essential personnel and data. Wei's hands trembled slightly as he input his authorization code. They input his authorization code. They can't evacuate 15 million people. Not in time. We focus on what we can do, Elena replied firmly. Send an emergency transmission to Earth. Priority Alpha. Include all sensor data on the alien fleet. The first attack came with blinding speed. A lance of violet energy cut through space from the largest alien vessel, colliding with New Horizons' shields. The protective barrier flared brilliant blue, holding but visibly weakening. Shield capacity at 72%. Lieutenant Okonkwo reported. That was just one shot from one ship. The second attack came from 3 vessels simultaneously. New Horizons' shield grid whined with the strain, power fluctuations causing lights to dim throughout the colony. Shield capacity at 41%. Elena watched in horror as the smaller alien craft began moving toward the colony's surface installations, terraforming equipment, atmosphere processors, and communication arrays. Their strategy was clear: systematic destruction of life support infrastructure. Return fire, all defense batteries, she ordered. Target the smaller craft first. New Horizons' defense grid sprang to life, pulse cannons sending blue-white energy streaking toward the alien attackers. Several of the smaller craft erupted into silent explosions, but were quickly replaced by others from the main fleet. Commander, Dr. Chen called from a secondary console. The aliens are deploying something into our atmosphere. The sensor readings confirmed his assessment. The invaders were seeding the carefully balanced ecosystem of New Horizon with something that the computers couldn't identify. Microscopic machines that began multiplying at an alarming rate. They're attacking on a molecular level, Marcus explained, his voice tight with fear. These nanites are breaking down our atmosphere, converting oxygen to something else. The third coordinated attack from the alien fleet shattered New Horizons' shields. Warning klaxons blared throughout the colony as emergency bulkheads began sealing. On the displays, Elena watched atmospheric breaches spreading across residential sectors. Evacuation status, she demanded. 8 ships away, Wei reported. Mostly children and critical scientific personnel. 3 more preparing for launch. Elena made the hardest decision of her career. We need to preserve what we can. Administrator Wei, initiate Protocol Omega-7. Wei's face paled. That's the Dead Men's Protocol. It will. I know what it does, Elena cut him off. But we need to ensure Earth gets everything. All our research, all our sensor data about these attackers. The colony's quantum transmitter can't send it all, but Omega-7 will preserve it. As Wei reluctantly entered the authorization, Elena addressed her team. Listen carefully. We have one more evacuation vessel. I want essential command personnel on it. Lieutenant Okonkwo, Dr. Chen, the rest of you. Take the Omega-7 package with you. And you, Commander? Marcus asked, already knowing the answer. Someone needs to ensure the data transmits and the evacuation ships get clear. Elena's voice remained steady despite the growing chaos around them. I'll take the colony's last fighter and provide cover. Through the viewport, Elena could see the beautiful landscape of New Horizon beginning to wither as the nanites converted the atmosphere. In the distance, the central habitation towers were collapsing one by one. 15 million people. Her people. Transmission commencing, Wei announced. Quantum package away. Earth will receive the data burst in approximately 7 hours. The command center shook violently as a direct hit struck the central spire. Go, Elena ordered. Get to the evacuation ship now. As her team rushed to follow orders, Elena accessed her command console one last time. With practiced motions, she transferred all command authority to her emergency implant. She would need direct neural control for what came next. The hangar bay was in chaos when she arrived. The final evacuation vessel was loading, civilians and personnel crowding the boarding ramp. Elena directed them efficiently, ensuring the Omega-7 package was securely aboard. Commander, please. Marcus called from the ship's hatch. There's room. Elena shook her head. Someone needs to fly interference. Get that ship and that data to Earth. She pressed a small data crystal into his hand. And give this to Admiral Yamamoto personally. Tell him it's time for Prometheus. Before he could protest further, Elena sealed the evacuation ship's hatch and signaled the launch controllers. As the vessel rose from the pad, she sprinted to her fighter, a CDF-117 Raptor, the fastest ship in the colony's small defensive fleet. The fighter's neural interface connected with her implant as she settled into the cockpit. Through the connection, she could feel the ship as an extension of her own body, its sensors becoming her enhanced senses. Colony I, this is Commander Vasquez. She spoke as the canopy sealed. Initiate final contingency measures and transfer all remaining power to defensive systems. Acknowledged, Commander, the AI responded. It has been an honor serving with you. Likewise, Elena guided her fighter out of the disintegrating hangar bay and into the chaos above New Horizon. The view was apocalyptic. The once beautiful colony was now a crumbling shell, its atmosphere turning the sickly green as the alien nanites continued their work. The evacuation ship was accelerating away, but 3 alien pursuit craft had already detected it. Elena didn't hesitate. She pushed the Raptor to maximum thrust, weapon systems coming online as she intercepted the aliens. The neural interface allowed her to target and fire with thought speed, her first volley destroying one pursuer and damaging another. The evacuation ship continued its escape as Elena engaged the remaining aliens in a desperate dance of maneuvers that pushed both her skills and the fighter's capabilities to their limits. Behind her, New Horizons' automated defenses fired their final salvos before falling silent forever. When the evacuation ship finally reached safe jump distance and disappeared into fold space, Elena allowed herself a moment of grim satisfaction. Then she turned her fighter toward the heart of the alien fleet, reconfiguring her ship's power core for one final act. For New Horizon, she whispered, pushing the engines beyond safety parameters and initiating the overload sequence. The Raptor streaked toward the largest alien vessel like a missile. In her final moments, Elena thought she detected a new emotion in the alien communications intercepted by her fighter systems, something that might have been surprise, or perhaps even fear. The explosion was visible from light years away, a small but defiant flash against the overwhelming darkness of space. 7 days later, the survivors of New Horizon arrived at Earth. Marcus Chen delivered Elena's data crystal to Admiral Yamamoto as promised, along with her final message. It's time for Prometheus. In the secure chamber beneath Luna's surface, Admiral Kazuo Yamamoto inserted the crystal into a reader, unsurprised to find that Elena had included her complete neural recording of the attack. As the horrific images played out before Earth's Defense Council, the room fell silent. When the recording ended, Admiral Yamamoto stood. Commander Vasquez believed these aliens would come for Earth next. The data supports her assessment. What do you propose? Asked the UN Secretary General. Commander Vasquez's final message referenced Prometheus. Yamamoto replied. It's time we revealed what that means. He placed his hand on a scanner, and a hidden panel in the chamber slid open to reveal a glowing red activation switch. For 30 years, while we've presented a peaceful face to the galaxy, we've been preparing. The Prometheus Protocol was developed after our first extraterrestrial contact, a contingency should we encounter a hostile force we couldn't negotiate with. What exactly is this protocol? Demanded a council member. Admiral Yamamoto's expression was grim as he rested his hand on the switch. 700,000 warships, hidden throughout our solar system. The greatest armada ever created, built in secret to ensure humanity's survival. Without further explanation, he activated the Prometheus Protocol. Throughout the solar system, in the asteroid belt, beneath the ice of Europa, in the clouds of Venus, and in the shadows of Mars, massive hangar doors began to open. Humanity was going to war. In the observation dome of the Lunar Command Center, Admiral Kazuo Yamamoto stood with his hands clasped behind his back, watching as humanity's secret was finally revealed. The activation of the Prometheus protocol had triggered automated systems throughout the solar system. Hidden shipyards that had operated in complete secrecy for 3 decades were now opening their massive doors. Beside him, Dr. Marcus Chen stared in disbelief at the holographic displays, showing the scale of what had been hidden from public knowledge. How was this kept secret for so long? Compartmentalization. Yamamoto answered simply. No single person knew the full scope except for 5 individuals at the highest levels of Earth's defense structure. Each facility believed they were constructing only a small defensive fleet. Marcus shook his head in wonder. 700,000 ships. 693,417, to be precise, the Admiral corrected. Each one built with technology reverse-engineered from the first alien crash we recovered 50 years ago. The largest vessels, dreadnoughts nearly 5 kilometers in length, were emerging from beneath the lunar surface, less than 2 kilometers from where they stood. Their obsidian hulls absorbed light in a manner reminiscent of the alien vessels that had destroyed New Horizon, but distinctive human design elements were evident in their more angular, purposeful lines. The Retribution will serve as our flagship, Yamamoto explained, pointing to the largest dreadnought. And I want you on it, Dr. Chen. Your knowledge of the enemy's capabilities will be invaluable. Me? I'm not military. Neither were most of the 15 million people they killed at New Horizon. The Admiral's voice hardened. This is no longer just a military matter. This is about the survival of our species. The command center doors slid open, and both men turned to see a group of officers entering. The woman at their head moved with military precision despite her civilian clothes. Her auburn hair was pulled back in a severe bun, and her green eyes carried both intelligence and exhaustion. Lieutenant Commander Kaya Okonkwo, Yamamoto acknowledged. I'm pleased you survived. Thank you, Admiral. Kaya's voice was steady, but Marcus could see the grief she carried. I wish I could say the same for Commander Vasquez. Her sacrifice ensured your escape. Her data gives us a fighting chance. The Admiral turned to address the assembled officers. The alien force that destroyed New Horizon, which we're designating as Voidborn based on their emergence characteristics, represents an existential threat to humanity. Commander Vasquez's sensor data indicates they employ technology similar to what we've developed under Project Prometheus, suggesting they may have visited Earth before. The holographic display shifted to show the alien vessels from Elena's recordings. Their attack pattern was methodical and practiced. New Horizon wasn't their first target, merely their first human target. Intelligence suggests they've done this before to other species. Kaya stepped forward. Sir, with respect. Command structure for the fleet. I've received authorization from the Security Council. I'll serve as overall strategic commander, but tactical command of the Retribution battle group will go to you, Okonkwo. You're being promoted to commander, effective immediately. Surprise flickered across Kaya's face. Sir, there must be dozens of officers with more experience, but none who faced these aliens and survived. None who understand what we're up against like you do. Yamamoto's expression softened slightly. Elena Vasquez trusted you. That's good enough for me. The next 48 hours passed in a blur of preparations. The Prometheus fleet, hidden for decades, now swarmed with activity as crews boarded and systems came fully online. The existence of such a massive military force had shocked the public, but the destruction of New Horizon had silenced most critics. Humanity understood what was at stake. Commander Kaya Okonkwo stood on the bridge of the Retribution, still adjusting to the vastness of the dreadnought compared to New Horizon's modest defense vessels. The neural interface chair at the center of the bridge, similar to what Elena had used in her fighter, awaited her. All systems report ready, Commander, announced her first officer, Lieutenant Commander Raj Patel. Kaya nodded. Dr. Chen, what's the status of your analysis team? Marcus looked up from his science station. We've compiled everything from Commander Vasquez's data. We believe we've identified weaknesses in the Voidborn ships, particularly their propulsion systems. Excellent. Kaya turned to the communications officer. Status of the fleet. All 693,417 vessels report combat ready. Admiral Yamamoto has transferred strategic command protocols to your neural interface. Kaya took a deep breath and settled into the command chair. The neural connection activated instantly, flooding her consciousness with the status of every ship in the massive fleet. It was overwhelming at first, like suddenly having nearly 700,000 additional limbs, but the interface adapted quickly to her thought patterns. This is Commander Okonkwo to all Prometheus vessels. Initiate jump sequence. Operation Retribution is now active. Throughout the solar system, ships began disappearing in flashes of controlled spatial distortion. The technology, perfected over decades of secret development, allowed humanity's armada to traverse vast interstellar distances in mere hours rather than the years conventional travel would require. The Retribution was the last to jump, vanishing from lunar orbit with a flash that momentarily outshone Earth's sun. When they emerged 7 hours later at the edge of the Arcturus system, Kaya immediately sensed through her neural link that something was wrong. The fleet's formation was intact, but long-range sensors detected weapons fire deeper in the system. "We have a situation," Marcus announced, confirming what Kaya already suspected. "The Voidborn aren't waiting for us. They're attacking the Arcturus research station." "Population?" Kaya asked, already directing a battle group toward the station. 4,000 scientists and their families, Marcus replied grimly. "It's our primary xenobiology facility. If they access its databases," Kaya understood immediately. The station contained comprehensive data on human biology, potentially giving the Voidborn precisely what they would need to optimize their attacks against Earth. "All ships, this is Commander Okonkwo. Change of plans. Priority Alpha is now the protection of Arcturus Station. I'm designating strike teams now." Through her neural link, Kaya divided the fleet with thought speed efficiency. 200,000 ships would engage the Voidborn fleet directly. Another 200,000 would establish a defensive perimeter around the station. The remainder would position themselves between the battle and the Earth jump corridor. "Commander," Marcus called out, "I'm detecting 39 Voidborn capital ships and approximately 300 smaller vessels. They appear to be using the same atmospheric conversion technology they deployed at New Horizon." Kaya felt cold anger settle in her chest. Not this time. The first engagement of the Prometheus fleet against the Voidborn began 3 minutes later. The aliens, clearly not expecting humanity to possess such advanced technology or numbers, were caught by surprise. The initial barrage from the human vessels destroyed 27 of the smaller Voidborn ships before they could react. But the aliens adapted quickly. Their vessels began executing maneuvers that defied conventional physics, seemingly phasing in and out of normal space. Their return fire, lances of violet energy, claimed dozens of human ships in the opening minutes of battle. "They're using some form of dimensional shifting," Marcus observed, studying the sensor data. "It's why our conventional sensors couldn't detect them at New Horizon until they'd fully materialized." "Can we counter it?" Kaya asked, wincing as she felt the destruction of more ships through her neural link. "Possibly. Their shifting appears momentarily vulnerable during the transition, if we time our attacks precisely." Kaya didn't hesitate. Through the neural interface, she updated the fleet's tactical parameters, synchronizing their weapons systems to target the precise moments when Voidborn ships were most vulnerable. The battle evolved into a deadly dance, Voidborn vessels shifting between dimensions while human ships adapted their tactics in real time through their interconnected neural network. For every human vessel destroyed, 3 Voidborn ships were eliminated. The space around Arcturus Station became a graveyard of broken vessels and dissipating energy. "Station status," Kaya demanded after the first hour of combat. "Their outer shields are failing," Raj reported. "But our defensive perimeter is holding. The Voidborn haven't breached the station itself yet." Through her neural connection, Kaya felt a sudden shift in the battle's dynamics. The Voidborn were changing strategies, concentrating their forces against a specific section of humanity's defensive formation. "They're targeting our command and control nodes," she realized aloud. "They've identified the neural network as our advantage." Before she could issue new orders, the bridge rocked violently as the retribution took a direct hit. Emergency systems activated as compartments began sealing. "Damage report," Kaya called out. "Direct hit to our port weapons array," Raj answered. "Shields holding at 62%. Kaya made another rapid decision. "Dr. Chen, I need options. You study their technology from Alina's data. How do we gain an edge?" Marcus moved quickly to the tactical display. Commander Vasquez's final scans revealed something interesting about their ships. The dimensional shifting technology generates massive energy signatures, but it has a distinct vulnerability. He highlighted a section of the alien vessel schematics. "These nodes here, they remain partially in normal space even during shifting. If we could deploy quantum-locked projectiles, like armor-piercing rounds for dimensional barriers," Kaya nodded, understanding immediately. "Lieutenant Zhang, reconfigure our mass drivers for quantum-locked payloads." Through her neural link, Kaya transmitted the new specifications to the entire fleet. Ships throughout the formation began adapting their weapon systems on the fly, a feat that would have been impossible without the integrated command network. The next wave of attacks from the human fleet struck with devastating efficiency. Quantum-locked projectiles passed through the dimensional barriers of shifting voidborn vessels, striking critical systems while they were most vulnerable. Alien ships that had seemed nearly invulnerable minutes before were now exploding in cascades of violet energy. "It's working," Marcus exclaimed. "Their dimensional shifting can't protect against the quantum-locked projectiles." The tide of battle shifted dramatically over the next 30 minutes. The Voidborn, unable to rely on their primary defensive technology, began a fighting retreat. But Kaya, remembering the ashes of New Horizon, wasn't willing to let them escape. "All ships, maintain pursuit. Do not let them regroup or jump to light speed." Through the neural network, Kaya coordinated the most complex naval maneuver in human history. Hundreds of thousands of ships moved in perfect harmony, cutting off escape vectors and systematically eliminating voidborn vessels. When the last alien ship had been neutralized, an eerie silence fell over the bridge of the Retribution. The neural link carried the collective exhaustion of nearly 700,000 crews, along with the grief for those lost in the engagement. "Casualty report," Kaya requested quietly. "We lost 17,422 ships," Raj answered solemnly. "But Arcturus Station is secure. All 4,000 personnel are safe." Kaya nodded, allowing herself a moment of satisfaction despite the losses. "And the Voidborn?" "Complete neutralization of their fleet," Marcus confirmed. "We've captured 3 of their vessels mostly intact for study." Admiral Yamamoto's hologram appeared on the bridge. "Commander Okonkwo, exceptional work. The Security Council is awaiting your report." "Thank you, Admiral," Kaya replied. "But this was just one battle. Based on the data we recovered, the Voidborn have multiple fleets throughout this sector of the galaxy." "Then we'll be ready for them," Yamamoto stated firmly. "What Commander Vasquez started, you finished. Proof that humanity can stand against this threat." Kaya shook her head. "With respect, sir, we haven't finished anything. We've only begun." She brought up a holographic display of the captured alien data. "The Voidborn aren't just random conquerors. They're systematic exterminators of what they deem incompatible intelligent life. They've destroyed 17 other civilizations before targeting us. And now they know we can fight back," Marcus added. "Precisely." Kaya squared her shoulders. "Which means we need to locate and liberate any surviving species. Form alliances. The Prometheus Protocol was just the beginning. Humanity needs to lead a coalition against the Voidborn before they regroup and return in greater numbers." Admiral Yamamoto studied her for a long moment before nodding. "I'll convey your recommendation to the Security Council. In the meantime, secure this system and prepare the fleet for the next engagement. When the Admiral's hologram disappeared, Kaya turned back to the view screen. The stars seemed different now, no longer distant points of wonder, but potential battlefields in a war humanity never wanted but could not avoid. "Commander," Marcus spoke softly beside her. "Elena would be proud." Kaya felt tears threatening to form, but held them back. She gave everything to warn us, to give us a chance. She straightened her uniform. Now we need to make that sacrifice count. Through the neural link, Kaya issued new orders to the fleet. Repair crews began work on damaged vessels. Scientific teams started analyzing the captured voidborn technology. The massive armada that had remained hidden for decades now moved with purpose, securing the system and preparing for what would come next. Aboard the Arcturus station, survivors gathered at viewports to watch in awe as humanity's 700,000 ships moved in perfect formation against the backdrop of space, a constellation of human ingenuity and determination. Back on the Retribution's bridge, Commander Kaya Okonkwo placed a small holographic projector on the command console. It activated to show an image of Commander Elena Vasquez, captured during happier days on New Horizon. "We remember," Kaya whispered, "and we will prevail." As if in response, the lights of the Prometheus fleet seemed to burn brighter against the darkness of space, 700,000 stars of human making, standing defiant against the void.